Fire, treasures, doom. Mentioning dragons conjures these words into the minds of people, and considering the legends told about these ancient beings, one cannot be blamed to think of such vocabulary to describe them. However, the dragons of Golarion are more than scaled harbingers of destruction or blind hoarders of wealth. Sure, some of them match these descriptions, but these creatures are as diverse as the colors of their scales, the shapes of their wings, and their individual connections to the magic of the world. This essay is a chance at introducing you, dear listener, to the great variety among the draconic families. Stay and learn about some of the draconic lineages and how they impact the world around them. Learn that these creatures are more than what the legends have told you. The roots of draconic existence harken all the way back to the dawn of time. When the universe was still young and being born from primordial chaos, the first dragons, Apsu and Sarshalatu, gave birth to 7 children. Apsu and Sarshalatu envisioned that, together with their offspring, they would aid in the creation of a universe filled with beauty and wonder. However, among their children was one with darker ambitions. Dahak, oldest of the 7, was born with the urge to only destroy what the gods and his family built, and warred with his siblings. The conflict among early dragonkind would result in many dragons choosing one side in this war, the banishment of Dahak to hell, and the establishment of Apsu as the deity for virtuous dragonkind, while Dahak would become the patron to those dragons who sought to follow their thirst for greed and destruction. The Age of Serpents was an era in which dragons were at the apex of their power and influence. A close alliance with the dominant serpent folk of that age allowed dragons to thrive, but their small numbers were soon overtaken by the more numerous mortal ancestries of the world. As the serpent folk's golden age fell into the crevices of history, so did the remaining dragons realize they could not keep up with the sheer numbers of the younger ancestries, and many decided to retreat into the solitary places of the world. To this day, many associate dragons with their lairs in distant, isolated locations. As mighty, intelligent, and long-lived as dragons are, their hearts are not free of desire, which drives them to come out of hiding and mingle in one way or another with the people of the world. Recent historical events, like the disappearance of Eridan and the end of prophecy, the opening of the World Wound, and the death of Gorum and the following God's reign, have brought more dragons out of hiding. Though they are surely not a common sight, more often now will people look up and see these worms of old fly through uncertain skies into an uncertain future. In general, we can sort Golarion's dragons into one of 4 categories based on the 4 magical traditions: arcane, divine, occult, and primal. Naming these categories after magical traditions already points to one shared characteristic of all these dragons, which is their innate ability to tap into magical energies. Other characteristics found in all of these so-called magical or traditional dragons are ever-growing might and cunning as they age, and the tendency to hoard treasure and wealth. We can drill down further and divide these groupings into families, such as the family of the regal imperial dragons, or the spacefaring outer dragons. However, this level of categorization is often the subject of debate among scholars, as members of certain families do not always share common features, and new families are formed regularly by draconic researchers. For that reason, we will focus on the 4 major draconic groupings mentioned earlier, describing their general features, and 2 draconic species per grouping. Arcane dragons are even more aligned with magical energies, and often specialize in some form of magic. These dragons tend to have more slender bodies, and their scales boast repeating, perfect patterns. Fortune dragons show this magical link by acting like magnets to gems, coins, and magical items. Their bodies are covered in this treasure, and they slowly draw magical power from these objects. However, the natural magical energies of the fortune dragon also flow back into these items, and this can cause them to overload and melt. Older fortune dragons are covered in layers of molten treasures, covering their scales with a glittering patchwork tapestry. Fortune dragons seek novel experiences, and will welcome new faces into their lairs. Once the novelty wears off, though, a fortune dragon grows tired and wants to seek out something new and more interesting. The fortune dragon's magical nature is shown in their ability to capture fragments of magic they have counteracted and draw the lingering magic into them to gain power that fuels their own spells. Older fortune dragons actually radiate an aura of disruption, which distorts magic in the dragon's presence. These older dragons can then also drain the disrupted magic to heal their wounds. A fortune dragon's breath weapon is a cone of force energy that does not just blast the body, but also the minds of those unfortunate enough to experience it. The lair of a fortune dragon is filled with their hoard, usually larger than that of other dragons. However, due to the fact that these dragons slowly drain the magic out of the items attracted to them, most of it is mundane in nature and often severely damaged. The most valuable items in a fortune dragon's hoard are kept hidden, or directly on the dragon, and they will defend these fiercely. Mirage dragons are another type of arcane dragons, and they embody the deceptive nature often attributed to all dragons. Using their connection to illusion magic, they not only camouflage themselves on the hunt, but also deceive others and further their own vile agendas. Mirage dragons prioritize their own well-being and pleasure above anything else, and will gladly have others suffer for it. The fins on a mirage dragon's head are both captivating adornment and part of their methods to distract and befuddle foes. The iridescent scales of a mirage dragon are one of their defenses against attackers. Flashing them helps to throw off foes, perhaps giving the dragon a brief moment to avoid any harm. As they age, they learn to open their fins for a captivating display, dazzling and slowing their enemies. Older mirage dragons also master illusion magic to such a degree that they become innately aware of any illusion, allowing them to disbelieve the deceptions woven by others. Even a mirage dragon's breath weapon is laced with illusion magic. Those caught in its blast have their mind assaulted by confusing images, causing them to be unable to discern reality from illusion. Of course, this allows the mirage dragon to either retreat from a dangerous foe or perform a killing blow. Mirage dragons are vain creatures, and their lairs are a testament to this. These dragons keep every coin, gem, and other treasure polished to a mirror shine, so they can see their own reflection in every possible surface. Building their lairs in natural locations does not only amplify their camouflage, But a lair near to a lake provides yet another mirror in which the Mirage Dragon can admire their own perfection. While this group's name might cause you to think these dragons are linked to deities, divine dragons instead draw their power from planes beyond the mortal universe. The appearance of these dragons is quite diverse, often based on whatever plane they are linked to. Diabolic dragons are incarnations of hell itself. Some believe these dragons are the reborn souls of dragons who have passed through hell. But no matter their exact origin, these dragons are cunning and natural schemers. Similar to devils, diabolic dragons can be very charming and persuasive, approaching strangers with an unsettling degree of calmness. Imbued with the unholy essence of hell, diabolic dragons can strike back at foes who hurt them with hell's sting. Already painful to regular creatures, beings of a holy nature are affected even more by it. These hellish traits extend to any flames these dragons produce, allowing them to turn mundane fire into something that scorches the very spirit. Their breath weapon is literal hellfire, a torrent of infernal fury that burns anything caught in its cone. A diabolic dragon's lair does not boast a great hoard usually. Instead, these dragons collect soul gems and infernal contracts, patiently awaiting those who signed these contracts to die and their souls to pass into said gems. While most gems are then given to wherever they should go in hell, diabolic dragons hold on to some of these and keep the souls as servants or subjects for even more terrible fates. From the other end of the planar spectrum hail the Imperial Dragons, born from a direct connection to heaven itself. These dragons are bastions of wisdom and good, living to protect others and strike down wickedness wherever it occurs. A shining halo of pure light adorns their horned heads. This halo radiates an inspiring presence all who are close to an Imperial Dragon can feel. These dragons can also direct their halo to descend from their head and shine elsewhere, and can even channel additional divine powers through it. While already young dragons can use their halo to heal and repulse, ancient Imperial Dragons learn to use their divine crown to restrict movement of foes within its light. Similar to diabolic dragons, an Imperial Dragon's breath weapon is fiery, but instead of hellfire, these flames are pure holy might. While the lairs of other dragons are often in secluded areas, Imperial dragons who leave heaven and settle down in the universe like to establish their homes in more accessible places. Fitting their urge to help the weak and fight evil, they want to be accessible to the people who need their aid. Next to their own treasure hoard, Imperial dragons also keep weapons, armor, and other tools sized to fit the people living around their lair, so that they can always outfit them if they need to fight against evil. As strange and otherworldly as the magic they share a category with, occult dragons draw their power from the alien, the mysterious, and the unknown. These dragons are most likely to interact with other creatures. Occult dragons know how to make better use of their wings as supplementary appendages, and their scales are often covered in patterns and symbols not found in the natural world. Some legends say that all dragons can take the shape of humanoids and wander among the mortal ancestries. While some dragons are capable of that, none have mastered it like the conspirator dragons have. These dragons infiltrate societies and revel in scheming and manipulation. They see themselves as superior to all other life forms, and will gladly remind others of their place. The key to the conspirator dragon's infiltration skills is their gift to create extremely convincing disguises. These dragons are capable of conjuring flesh suits, visually copies of creatures the dragon has seen, and compress their large forms into these. A conspirator dragon can stay in this disguise indefinitely, using it to advance its nefarious schemes by pretending to be someone else. If their charade is revealed, they can make an escape after violently detonating the flesh suit and hastily make a temporary new disguise to flee from the scene. Woe to those who reveal a conspirator dragon's secret like this, as it will surely become the victim of their next scheme. A conspirator dragon's smoke breath is a physical incarnation of how they blanket the truth with lies. The smoke not just hurting their foes, but also obfuscating the area. One can imagine how these dragons might see their breath not so much as a weapon, but more as a tool to distract and retreat if necessary. The treasure conspirator dragons are most fond of are secrets, especially those that can be used to blackmail and extort. The kind of secrets a conspirator dragon keeps in their lair often hint at whatever scheme they are currently pursuing. A dragon who plans to take over control of a nearby city might have a lot of incriminating documents against the local rulers, waiting to be used at the right time to erode their power base. Even though conspirator dragons live among other creatures, their lairs and the secrets within tend to be in well-guarded, isolated basements, bank vaults only they have access to, or beyond civilization in hidden caverns or deep forests. The age of lost omens is upon us, and prophecy is dead. Still, fate is a power some can witness and divine its flow, and omen dragons are embodiments of it. From the day they hatch, omen dragons hear the endless song of fate and see visions of things to come. Even their wings are imbued with this link to fate. Those who look upon their mirror-like surface will see vague, but generally correct glimpses of the future. Omen dragons do not mind sharing their insights, whether you ask them for them or not. Young omen dragons are already capable of challenging fate, allowing them to avoid harm as their magic rewrites the present. But the older an omen dragon gets, the stronger their destiny-warping powers become. Adult omen dragons can split their bodies into two temporal copies, allowing them to perform multiple actions at the same time. Ancient ones can bring a terrible destiny to their foes, their strikes and breath imbued with powerful fate magic that brings their enemies closer to their doom. Even an omen dragon's breath is filled with strands of fate. The translucent mist assaults the mind and shows those caught in it a wild flurry of possible futures. Foes who ponder these visions are slowed and burdened with just a portion of the knowledge omen dragons are exposed to every waking moment. Omen dragons keep multiple small lairs and spread their hoard among them. Their treasures include items that they have seen play a vital part in their visions, and other objects that they believe might play an important role in some unfolding prophecy. Those who visit an omen dragon in its lair can request these items, but only if they can convince the dragon that it will be used to fulfill its preordained purpose. Primal dragons look like incarnations of primordial nature itself, and while they are not, their often massive bodies can look like they are made of rocks and iron, and some even have small plants growing all over their forms. Many primal dragons choose to be wardens of nature and defend it fiercely. Being often more creatures of instinct than rationale like other dragons, primal dragons can be especially dangerous when threatened. Adamantine dragons draw metals to their body or naturally grow them. These dragons are born with tough scales, which only become thicker and more filled with precious metals as they grow older. Their minds are as strong as the metals they are made of, and once an adamantine dragon has committed to a cause or purpose, it is almost impossible to have them reconsider their course. The thick scales of adamantine dragons provide them with excellent protection, and attacks that would have been critical strikes are easily deflected by them. Should an adamantine dragon ever be severely damaged, they can shed the outer layer of their rocky armor. They lose some of their resilience, but move faster, allowing them to escape. One way in which they could escape, and a way in which adamantine dragons travel that most other dragons do not, is through the earth. Adamantine dragons are masterful burrowers, and use these skills to ambush enemies. Adamantine dragons are so connected to stone and metal that even their breath weapon is a rocky avalanche. Their mouth expels blasts of rubble and debris, crushing enemies under the weight of a toppled mountain. It is no surprise that these dragons like to build their lairs in mountains, ravines, and other rocky terrain. Finding the entrance to them can be hard, as adamantine dragons burrow into their lair from various angles and leave a confusing labyrinth of tunnels. Their hoards are filled with gemstones and precious metals they find while digging. If one is inclined to gift an adamantine dragon something, material wealth is not what they seek. It is said that they do prefer immaterial gifts like an epic poem or beautiful song, things that cannot be found in the heart of the earth, but only in the hearts of people. Horned dragons visually embody very primal and natural elements, most notably their massive pair of horns. These dragons have bulky frames, rich scales, and natural coloration that helps them blend into their hunting grounds. As bestial as they look, these dragons are known to seek knowledge and practice self-discipline. They are generally open to conversation and curious to learn new things from strangers. A horned dragon's horns are an important element for their way of hunting and fighting. They will charge foes, attempting to gore them with their horns. Additionally, a horned dragon's tail is also a vicious weapon, waiting to strike at unsuspecting foes. The breath weapon of these dragons is pure poison, and ancient horned dragons excrete even more of this miasma after they use their breath. Those unfortunate enough to stand too close to an elder dragon will have to deal with more poisoned air and have their sight hindered by its stinging acids. Horned dragons live in forests and swamps, their lairs being found in the canopy of trees, underneath networks of roots, or deep in caverns. Their hoards are usually very well organized and filled with tomes, scrolls, and other bits of knowledge. Many horned dragons gather these objects from all over the world, and if one seeks favor from these scaled scholars, it is wise to give them rare treasures or lost artifacts in return. There are more types of dragons, and much more to learn about the dragons described in this essay. Still, this introduction to Golarion's dragonkind should provide you with an overview of just how varied these creatures are. While the sight of some of these rightfully invokes fear in the hearts of mortals, witnessing others in the sky should be seen as a sign of good fortune. Keep looking towards the clouds, and perhaps you will one day see one of these living embodiments of magic. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below if your Pathfinder campaigns involved any of these dragons, or which one is your favorite. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching, stay safe, take care, and Bye-bye.